What up? No, 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 no. Alright, wait. Look, I met you in the hallway of an office. It was about 5 o'clock, so of course you were walking to your car.
What's up, guys? My name's Hugh Miller, and welcome to the first and probably only episode that we're all aware of right now of a podcast. That's not really a podcast, but a talk show in which I, my friend E, and my other friend V, not sure why they're just letters right now, but you know, one of those, something like that. We're just gonna be talking about stuff, and this first episode we're gonna be strictly discussing Midnight in Salem for obvious reasons, unless you've been living under a rock, in which case I'm pretty sure most people haven't. But I have noticed some people have been living under rocks. E and V, do you guys care to comment on that?
On living under rocks?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
I mean, you've noticed people that have like come out of nowhere and said, "Oh, I've just noticed that we haven't had a new game in a while," and all this stuff.
Oh yeah, it's definitely. I see that a lot, like especially in the social media. People asking like, "When's the release date? When's this?" It's been so many years when they don't really seem to actually see like what is out already before they just decide to bellyache a little bit.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but it kind of bugs me when people don't just take a quick look around first before they just ask people for help. Maybe it's just me, but it kind of bugs me. I don't know.
I agree.
Anyways, so that's the first part of the show. Welcome V, welcome E. If you guys want to introduce yourselves and just a little background on you guys, that'd be awesome.
E, do you want to go first?
Sure. Hi, I'm E. I've been part of the Nancy Drew community for a while, and I do speedruns of the Nancy Drew games, and I live stream as well.
And I'm V. I am coming up on very soon in April. Will be right about 3 years that I've been active in the Nancy Drew community. I was active for years before that on the message boards, but kind of fell away from that, and now I'm primarily just part of the community on Twitch and then on YouTube. I live stream as well, and then try to just make myself available in the Her Interactive Twitch streams as well.
Brilliant, yeah. And for those of you guys that for some reason don't know who I am, I'm Hugh, and I've been playing Nancy Drew for 14 years, I think, something along those lines, maybe almost 14 years. I've been streaming Nancy Drew games for a couple of years now, close to 3, and been sort of heavily a part of the community for the past couple of years as well. And so that's about it. It's just it's been a fantastic time, I'll tell you that.
I just had a thought. I just realized that the 3 of us moderate for their Twitch channel.
Oh, yeah. We totally do. That's awesome. Yeah, so I got a few topics that I want to discuss with y'all, and of course they're all just Nancy Drew and mid-related stuff, but there's been a bit of a lack of information that we've been getting from Her Interactive about Nancy Drew number 33. It's been close to 4 years. 4 years, not next month, but the month after, which is shocking. And for those of you guys that may, for some reason, be new to this series, Her Interactive released games 2 games every year, and so that's a pretty big feat for any game company to release that many games a year. And they haven't released one. We're not counting Codes and Clues here, but they haven't released one in close to 4 years. And they're just starting to slowly crank out more information about their latest one, Midnight in Salem. And all we've really gotten so far is a not really concrete release date and a bunch of character art and their bios for the characters. And so we have in total, like the total count right now is 10 characters, not including phone characters, but 10 physical characters in the game, which is probably the biggest number. I think it is the biggest number that any Nancy Drew game has ever had. So what are you guys' thoughts on that? Do you think that'll lead to there being a bigger game or just more characters?
So for somebody who plays the games for the story and the environment primarily,
Yeah.
characters and character development are really, really important to me. And while I trust that the ratio will end up balancing out okay, I have to say I am slightly nervous. I feel like when you have too many characters, it becomes difficult to really um, grow those characters fairly throughout the course of the game
Hmm.
without making that game really, really long. Like, just for an example, I look at it's one of the small criticisms that I have with Warnings of Waverly Academy. I feel like there's only almost too many people to keep track of.
Yeah.
And while you do get some nice character development from characters, I wish that we'd had time and the ability to go into more for more of the girls. And I'm afraid of something like that happening with just so many characters to pay attention to.
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree because like when you have so many characters, you need to have a good script that will even everything out. You need to have enough character backstory that's not just like thrown at you, but that's subtly placed in there for you to create an emotional connection with the character. But since they have 10 characters, I mean, two of them are Frank and Joe, and then we have Deirdre. So there's like three characters there that we've already been introduced to and know a bit about. But still, for the other 7 characters, they got a lot to hand to us. What are your thoughts on all that stuff, E?
Well, I feel like with what V said, how they don't, they might not have like a ratio to kind of balance it out. They've been doing character development pretty well the last couple games. Uh, but that being said, with the layoff recently, we don't know who the team is that is really writing
Mm-hmm.
this one. So it's kind of a gray area on whether or not it'll be good because we don't know who's writing it.
Do you guys think that all the characters they've announced, do you think they've all been there from the beginning, or do you think some of them are just new? Uh, Sorry, let me rephrase this. Do you think they've all been there from the beginning, but we only had the character art for 5 of them, or do you think there are new ones that have been just introduced?
This actually perfectly leads into one of my little theories. I'll try to keep it brief, but I think that I know that there has been a lot of shifting within her interactive, and I don't really feel the need to like dive into all of that. If anybody wants to, look into that, they can go look it up. But I believe that the 5 characters that we had originally gotten, they were all female characters, though they were May, Lauren, Deirdre's new outfit, Tegan, and Jenna. I think that was it originally.
Yeah.
I think that they had a story written. These were the characters. They'd started making progress on the game. Um, they'd made the trailer, that you see at the end of Sea of Darkness, and then I think that's when all of the shifts started happening.
Mm.
And my theory is that they have either scrapped the original story or completely reworked it using the trailer at the end of C as their base. Like whatever they rebuilt or rewrote or scrapped still had to make sense coming off that trailer.
Mm-hmm.
If that means an entirely new story, I'm not entirely sure, but I just kind of have this feeling that the 5 girls that we had gotten so long ago were originally all we were going to get, and that all the new characters that we're getting are new additions or new write-ins or whatever it may be.
I'm not sure, but I have a theory like kind of what V said, where they had these characters designed because they usually plan out games like a few games ahead. So they probably had these, and then they did that little survey.
Yeah.
And one of the things they wanted, that people wanted to see, was more characters and longer games. So they might have reworked the story a bit, and also in the summary that they have on the web, they mention the judge and his son.
Yeah.
So who knows if they were like just kind of characters that were just in the story, but like characters that you got to talk to that maybe they added that opportunity in to be able to talk to them.
Yeah, I was actually just gonna mention that because that little game description that's on the game page, Katie Coronis, she wrote that years ago, and she got mad when Her Interactive released that because she wrote that intentionally just for their internal wiki, and so she said she would have written a much better game description, and so since she wrote that so long ago, Judge Danforth and Jason Danforth, they totally were both there from the beginning. But something I've also noticed, especially on the Nancy Drew subreddit, is whenever they release a new character, the character bio seems to get longer and longer and longer. Whereas if you look at all the other ones, like the first five, they're very brief, very short. And so I'm thinking, since those ones were written so long ago, and then the newer ones that are longer were announced recently, then the new characters must be new characters that were just added in. Because they wouldn't have had the same person writing the character bios, because these ones are just so long. Someone called
There
them
is,
word salads, and I love that.
yeah, there is a definite difference in the style of just the character descriptions between the original five that we'd gotten so long ago and then the newer ones that we're getting now. That's definitely true.
Hmm.
When I do have a question though, if you guys can help refresh my memory, just because I don't remember, where at in like the timeline of us waiting for mid did that survey get released? Because I don't remember.
The
I
one,
believe it was summer, like pretty much right after C was released.
yeah, it was around that time. It was very early on.
Okay,
Because I, I,
gotcha.
I, I totally missed it when it did come out, I think. Unless I did do it, and I just, excuse me, totally forgot about it. But
Okay, because I didn't realize that the previous writer Katie had written this description
mm,
at the same time. I thought that this was something that they came out with later on down the road, but that may have just been me missing it.
I think part of it was that she wrote it, and then they were going to keep it on the internal on the internal wiki. But since they had
Mm,
nothing new to show the fans, they're probably just like, oh, screw it. We got to do something. We've got this, and that's good enough. And so they, I
okay,
think I think they just released that as it is. That's my guess on that one.
okay.
Do you guys think they're gonna stay true to that snippet of the summary?
I think they're gonna stick. They're gonna try and stick to it as much as possible because knowing Her Interactive, the people that are still there. When I say that are still there, I mean like the originals, as in Kalina and Jared. I believe they know the series well enough and they know the fan base well enough, and that they will try and convince Penny to get their outsourced company, whoever that may be, or companies, we don't know. They will try and get them to write a script as close to what they originally had planned as possible, but still make modifications based on what the fans have asked for and fan surveys over the years. That's my guess. Why do you guys think there are so many characters? Like, I know Her Interactive said that since they're using a Unity-based engine, that they can now support that. But do you think they're doing it because the fans said they wanted a bigger engine, or do they are they doing it just because they have to, or what do you think? Why do you think there's so many characters in this game?
I think that mm, primarily most of it is probably going to be the give the people what they want kind of situation. Um, I think that's probably fueled even more by the fact that they've kept us waiting so long. Um, so going back to the survey situation, um, it would make sense to me from a company standpoint that they're sitting here, they're saying, we haven't released a game in 4 years. We know that the fans have been waiting and waiting and waiting. We need to make this the game that they've asked for. So if people are asking for more characters, they're going to spread that layer on as thick as they can without going crazy, I think.
Yeah, I would understand that too. Do you guys have any speculation on who the phone characters might be in this game? Are we going to get Bess and George? Are we going to get Ned? Are we going to get Carson? Are we going to get some other past character? Are we gonna get a totally new character?
Well, one can only hope for Jessica and Holly.
I was gonna say, I was gonna say I would love to have Hannah as like an actual phone character.
Ooh, that'd be good.
Um, I just think it's about time that we get Hannah as like an actual character instead of just like as a phone recording. I think it would be great to have her at, like as kind of a another treat kind of for the long-term fans or like fans that have grown up with Nancy Drew even outside of just the games. I think Hannah would be a treat to have.
I would love that. E, what do you think?
Well, I can't think of any like previous characters that would make sense here. I think Hannah would be a really nice addition. Um, it really just depends on the story because there are phone characters, as you probably know, that are introduced just kind of randomly.
Yeah, like we had Alex in Sea of Darkness, right?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. If they brought back Savannah, would you either love it or hate it?
So
Oh no.
my opinion on Savannah is I think she's a great character, but as a girl who's grown up in the southern United States for her entire life, her
Yeah.
accent is so forced that I'm like, please. Nobody talks like that. Nobody talks like that in Georgia. I promise you. But other than that, I think she's fine. I wouldn't care if she was back. However, I do think that I think it would be too close because I already felt like it was slightly close to have her in Shadow at the Water's Edge and then again Echoes of Thornton Hall. But then again, that was only 4 games. Um, it would
That's still 4 games. That's like 2 years apart. That's really
Yeah.
close.
So I know it wouldn't really be that close together, but it would feel pretty close together to have her yet again in game 33.
Yeah,
Yeah,
fair
and
enough.
if they added her to mid, that would be the 3 scary games in a row. So then people would be expecting her like pretty much every scary game.
Oh yeah,
That's a good point.
that is actually that's very true. What are your thoughts on the fact that Her Interactive still has not announced an official release date? Do you guys think that the game is going to be pushed back again? Do you think that they still are in a cloud as to when the game will actually be done, but they're still planning spring 2019?
Well, I have a hope about this, and my hope is that we'll get something like, oh, more character art, more character art, more character art. And then one day they're going to be like, oh, we're going to announce the next mid thing. And it'll literally just be like, games available to buy, go. And I think that would just be like a really kind of like a almost like a humorous way to kind of announce that it's here, is not even do like a release date or even pre-orders, but to just make enough in anticipation that you could say it's here, it's live, order it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I mean, I think that'd be so cruel of them because the with what their pattern, sorry, not the pattern, their history of releasing stuff over the last 4 years, I think would put off so many fans that if they just said it's available, so many people would just be like, but is it actually available? Are you being serious? Like they would start questioning it right away. That's my worry with that.
True.
So
I feel like it's not going to be released in spring. I feel like it's going to be in the fall because every year since the mid delay was announced, people got kind of excited for maybe mid coming out the Halloween. And I feel like her will try and cater to that kind of target season that we all kind of expected mid to be released in originally.
yeah, and I kind of I agree with that too. I don't believe it's gonna be releasing right in spring because for Her Interactive in the past, spring has been April or May. April's next month, May is the month after, and we still have no set release date. I can't see how they can logically stick to this this
It
timeline unless they release the release date within the next couple weeks.
it would be definitely pretty hard. We have, I just did some math um, while you were talking.
Yes.
We have 95 days from the day we're recording this to the first day of summer.
Wow.
95 days to go um, until the spring 2019 that is on their website becomes untrue. I would say when we get down to 60 days left, if they still have spring 2019, I'm going to get nervous for them.
Yeah,
um,
yeah. I think
so,
if and when they release this new teaser trailer that they secretly announced and never publicly said anything about, I've got a feeling that they're going to have a release date at the end of the trailer, which is why when they said stay tuned for a new teaser trailer, I think they're slowly starting to work on that, and then once that's done, then they're gonna have the release date at the end of it and the pre-order dates and whatnot. So I think they might be farther along than they're hinting at. But then again, they've only released character art and no location concepts or anything. So they are truly becoming a mystery themselves. And I would love to see these past 4 years turned into a Nancy Drew game.
me too.
A thing you also have to keep in mind is that um, the dates between pre-order starting and the game actually releasing is about a month. So they would have to start pre-orders at least a month before the end of spring.
That's true. So they would have to get on it like next month, or
Yeah, that'd
yeah.
be like early or mid-May at the latest.
I'm gonna give them like 30 days to come out with a release date, and if they don't do that, then it's not coming out in spring. That I'm gonna stick by that for the next 30 days. Small little thing. What do you guys think the game color is gonna be? Because personally, I'm really thinking purple, and I'm only saying that because if you go to the game page, they actually have the little strategy guide thing, and it's got a purple logo. But that was just a placeholder at the time. But I'm thinking they're slowly starting to stick with that even more, because on the little announcement that says Happy New Year from the Hardy Boys and Her Interactive, they have purple fireworks, and I don't know. Maybe it's just me being like, oh, purple here, purple there. Look at that.
I want pumpkin orange.
Ooh, that would be good.
I mean, I would think that would be a good color for mid. However, Silent Spy is like really close to that.
Oh, you're right.
But to be
So I think
fair,
purple might be more viable.
though, Labyrinth of Lies was like pinky red, more pink, I guess, and Ghost of Thornton Hall was red, and they were like 2 games apart.
What about the green that's on the Hathorn House sign?
Ooh, that could be good too, actually.
Do we have
Yeah, that would
anything that's
be good.
color? I don't think so.
Or do you guys think they're gonna do
Like,
will they do something like the Phantom of Venice and Shadow of the Water's Edge, where they have a different color on the game number than they do on the strip on around the edge of the case?
Oh, I don't know.
Because in that
I
case,
yeah,
guess
yeah,
that would be interesting.
because they could do like purple and orange or something, even though
that is very
yeah,
Halloweeny.
exactly, it'd be a little too cliche, but you know,
With the jack-o'-lantern on the front, it would be very like, this is Halloween.
yeah, exactly.
Well, I mean, if they are like reworking the Nancy Drew games, I wouldn't be surprised if they changed the layout of the box art.
Ooh,
Yeah,
good point.
because I think they started to do that a bit with Sea of Darkness, because they just had a plain yellow strip on the spine of the case, and then they didn't even have a game color strips. They had like wood grain strips, you know. So could be the first hint at something different.
That's true.
And while we're on the topic of the game case, what do you guys think about the cover art? Do you think they're gonna use the same cover art artist they were using? I think it's Mark Tolisog or something. Or
I really like his style for like, especially like Labyrinth of Lies is such a
mm-hmm.
beautiful game box.
I
I
adore
would love
it.
to have his style again,
Mm-hmm.
but I definitely don't think that it's gonna be like what is the placeholder, I guess, on the website right now, with just the Hathorn House sign with the jack-o'-lantern. I don't think that that's going to be the cover art, but I am hoping that we get like a really nice drawing like we did for Sea of Darkness and um, Labyrinth of Lies. How many games has that artist done?
All of them. He did like he was brought in Message in a Haunted Mansion, and then he
Oh,
redid number 1 and 2, and has done every single cover art from
okay.
SCK to C and the Dossier games.
Well, then the man has done good work, and we should continue to use him.
Well, see, here's the thing. I actually did some research on him. He is local to Seattle, so I don't see why they wouldn't use him again,
Yeah,
unless
that's
it's like
true.
unless it's a budgetary issue. But you know,
Yeah.
and what do you guys think the cover art will be? Like, I've seen so many fake cover arts online. I'm sure you guys have too. But what do you think is going to be on the front cover?
Hmm.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I don't even know. I don't know what on earth it could be.
I feel like we'll have the burning building in some form.
Mm.
Like in past cover arts, they've had like little kind of iconic things in the games, like in the corner with like the centerpiece.
Like the things that have spurred the events of the game.
Yeah, yeah.
So in this case, yeah, it would be the Hathorn house burning because Sea of Darkness, the Helicide crashed. Why did it crash? Where's Magnus? Right? Labyrinth of Lies. What's going on with the living and the world of the living and the world of the dead? You know, Silent Shadow Medallion. It's all about Sunny June, so on and so forth. So
Yeah, I think that it's whatever is going to be like the iconic but also mysterious thing, like E said. So I think the burning house is definitely a good contender for what would be on the box art.
I'm just curious though because you
But then
know,
again, like
Alibi and
we,
Ashes had the burning town hall.
Mm,
yeah, we also barely know anything about the game, so it's hard to decide.
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
just speculation, but it's fun to talk about.
Oh, I love it. Yeah. And in regards to a previous cover artist, what do you guys think about the soundtrack? Are we gonna have Thomas Reagan from North by Sound? Are we gonna have a totally new artist? Maybe, possibly even Kevin Manthe. What do you think?
So my nostalgia says I'd love to have Kevin Manthe back, but I
Mm,
also really like Thomas is the new guy, right?
yeah,
Yeah, I really like his work too. I mean, as a whole, the music is so immersive, and it's one of the really important aspects of the game for me personally. So, as long as we had sort of the same immersive feeling, I wouldn't really care who did it.
yeah, yeah. No, I agree with that too.
Yeah, I think Kevin's work is really good for like getting melodies that kind of stick in your mind. Where Thomas is, I think, really good at just kind of atmospheric
Hmm.
music, capturing like kind of the essence of the environment you're playing in. So the scarier games have always been more about the creepy atmosphere, and I think that soundtracks of the scary games are usually more atmospheric than melodic.
Mm,
So I think Thomas would be a good fit for.
That's a
yeah,
good point.
and I think I love Thomas's work. I love the soundtracks for 26 to 32, but for me, I can really tell that it's him, which I think for is a little bit of a bad thing. If I compare him to Kevin, which I hate comparing people because it's just unfair. But when Kevin did the first 25 games, he's got his style and it's always sort of there in the back of your mind, but every single soundtrack sounds so different. Whereas when I played the Silent Spy and then the Shadow Medallion, because I got a beta test med, I actually thought just first playthrough that they'd used some of the original music from Spy, and of course that wasn't the case. But they sounded a little too similar for me personally. But
Yeah, like, and for those of us who've been playing the series for years and years and years, it's like, at least for me personally, like if I hear a song from I don't know, let's say Ghost Dogs of Moon Lake.
Yeah.
Like those songs immediately, like within 2 to 3 seconds of a track, it's like I know where I am and where I'm at in the game,
Mm-hmm.
and it just like, it your memory has associations like that, so you automatically get put back in that space. But like you said, as great as I think Thomas's work is, it's a little more vague,
Mm-hmm.
so it's harder for me to immediately have that association with a certain game.
Yeah, and like if you're going back to some of the earlier games, like Ghost Dogs had tracks like Malone. Clearly, you're in Malone's area. You're in his house. You're in the speakeasy. Moon. It's obviously at night. Like there's just no question about it. Day. It's obviously during the day, and you've got all these visuals in your mind. Whereas if I go to Sea of Darkness and I hear the song Shanty, I could be anywhere in Iceland. I don't know. I don't really know. Could be on the ship. I could
Hmm.
be in Magnus's place. I could be in the town. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough to say. I want to talk a bit about the original teaser trailer for Mid real quick. And I was talking to V about this a little bit earlier, but I was having a conversation with someone. Not a conversation. A how would you put it? A
You're having a comment conversation.
Chat.
a chat. We'll have a chat. We had a chat about a certain aspect of the teaser trailer for Mid, and that aspect is that the hand that hits the window in the teaser trailer, with everything that Her Interactive has released up until now, it all makes sense that that hand is Jason Danforth or Judge Danforth's son, because originally I did actually think it was Deirdre's friend who was being accused for being a witch, and I thought the person that was standing out in front of the house was just trying to burn the place and try and kill her. But with more information saying that Jason was in the house when it was burning, and then they released Jason's character art and all this stuff, I took a bit of a closer look, and I'm starting to think that since Her Interactive reused the location art for the lilac in the parlor, and they put that right in the inside the house of the Hathorn house, I think they actually they took the one of the arms from the character model of Lucas from Captive Curse, and I think they used that arm to hit the window, because if you look at the sleeves rolled up, it's a smaller arm, and this person was trying to convince me that it was an adult's arm, and I just said no, just look at the distance between the elbow joint and the wrist, and then tell me that's not a child's arm.
Well, even just besides that, like it makes more sense contextually within the story and the description that we have for it to be Jason as a child. That's his
Exactly.
name, right? Jason.
Jason, yeah.
Okay, I
Yeah.
forgot his name.
Oh, that's already a bad sign. Her Interactive, it's time to change some stuff here. V's already forgot a character's name.
It's fine. It's just me forgetting.
Yeah, and I don't know. I think for me, I was just like, I couldn't see how they couldn't see that it was not Jason. Because they kept saying that it was when Jason was a kid. I'm just like, yeah, it was when Jason was a kid. And they're just like, well, it can't be him then. I'm just like, but kids grow up to be adults too. So, I don't know.
They do?
I know, right? Isn't that amazing? It's like
Well,
new,
it depends.
new information from WebMD.
It
Sorry,
depends
E.
on like how long like the story in the summary happened before we actually go into the game.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm curious about that because someone brought this up on the Amateur Sleuth blog today or last week. I don't know what it was, but they mentioned that throughout the entire game description, Jason is 10 years old. And I was like, I almost corrected them on that. Said no, he's not. And then I went and reread it, and it just goes on to say the only thing he can recall was the frightening expressions from a vile, ghostly woman who watched him with burning eyes as she spoke from the fireplace flames. Well, I gotta say, that's clearly a Harry Potter reference. The police were quick to respond to the fire because neighbors already called them about the boy dancing in the dark street. Was the child bewitched? Acting on tips from concerned citizens, police the eccentric May Paris, and accuse her of witchcraft. So how old would May be at this time? Because in the character concept, she looks to be just a couple years older than Jason, or around the same age as Jason. So I don't know. It's tough. I don't know. What do you guys think about that?
I guess I can't really say, but just looking at the two characters together
Mm-hmm.
and the character art, they can't be too far apart in age. I mean, it says in Jason's description that as years passed,
Mm-hmm.
Jason enjoyed being the it guy in town and being both wealthy and handsome.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, you've already got the suggestion there that years have passed since at least the incident, but maybe even the arrest.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm not sure.
Yeah, exactly. And they of course don't give like hardly any information about May at all. So it's tough to say. Tough to say completely. Here's another little thing I want to ask you guys about, and that is the background art for the character concept art and how it's changed from the original, like the stack of pumpkins, to something that is completely unknown with the more recent characters. What do you think is going on in the background there?
I'm looking at it.
Because I don't know if it's just a. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, well, it looks to me like it's like a wood.
And that's what I'm thinking too, right? But I just don't know. Is it like a scene from the game? Is it possibly part of the cover art? You know, I don't know what it is. Is it just some image they found online?
It also, if you look in the bottom left corner, it kind of looks like a graveyard.
And that's what I was thinking. It does look a lot like a graveyard. And so I'm wondering, is that like a church that's out behind the name and logo and whatnot, or?
The silhouette in the bottom right corner, at first I was like, let's figure out who that is. But as I'm scrolling, it could be almost anybody.
Yeah.
Since pretty much all the characters either have shorter haircuts or have their hair pinned up. That silhouette could literally be attached to like any of the characters that we've gotten revealed so far.
Especially if they're wearing a hood on a sweater.
Mm-hmm.
So
Oh,
yeah.
you know what? If you look at Judge Danforth's, where the text isn't as big, it almost looks to me like trees and then a house behind it.
And that's what I'm thinking. I don't know, but if this is at a graveyard, is that a house or is that a church or some other building?
Well, okay, here's another clue. So if you kind of scroll back up where it says game features right above the only screenshot that we have,
Mm-hmm.
the second bullet point says explore an ancient crypt.
Oh, brilliant! Of course.
So crypt?
Yeah, it's gotta be. So are we gonna get like some Vampire Diaries style stuff? Ooh, that was a fun game. Let's do that again.
Let's do that again. Yeah, no,
Oh.
I'm thinking something like that, or maybe I also think like Ghost of Thornton Hall, Legend of the Crystal Skull,
Crystal
games
Skull,
that have
yeah.
significant crypts like that.
Yeah. And actually, I wonder, just based on these game features, they haven't been changed at all since the day this was released. But how, like, this could give away a few things. We got now Ruth Hathorn. I take it that was, oh, never mind. That must be a relative or wife or something of John Hathorn, I guess. Unless Ruth Hathorn is a real person, because it says solve historical figure Ruth Hathorn's puzzles.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I don't even know who that is. We'll find out real quick
Probably
though.
the daughter or the wife.
Let's find out.
Of the original Judge John Hathorn, which is where the Hathorn house was named from.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, it probably definitely has to do with the history element.
Yeah, because
And
John Hathorn was a real person. So
then we have Take a Tour of Salem, which obviously refers to Jenna's business.
well, and discern fiction from truth. So yeah, exactly. And then the classic sleuth and amateur master level and erase any mistakes without starting over. So they haven't changed that. So I'm guessing that's going to be the same. Do you guys think they're gonna change like the UI or anything?
Definitely, they kind of have to because it's in a new engine.
Yeah, yeah, I would think so too.
I did a little Googling, real quick on John Hathorne.
Yeah,
I'm just on Wikipedia. I'm just going to read a small bit.
let's hear it.
Um, John married in Salem, March 22nd in 1674, Ruth Gardner, who was the granddaughter of the old planter Thomas Gardner, a settler of Salem who arrived as part of the colonization efforts funded by the Dorchester Company in 1625. So Ruth Hathorne is the original John Hathorne's wife.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
Just using real history there.
That's well, there you go. That's got to be it then. All right.
So, do you
Um,
guys have any predictions for just general environments that we might be able to explore?
V, you go first. I gotta think about this one.
Um, I have like a small wish list. So maybe I'll give those. I would really like to see more. We haven't had, and I'm not including Phantom of Venice, but we haven't really had any really good like tunnel exploration in a while. So
Mm,
I'm pulling like from old games, I'm talking like Treasure in a Royal Tower, uh, Ghost Dogs and Moon Lake kind of tunnel.
Danger on Deception Island.
Yeah, I would like to see something like that. Um, Definitely for like an environment, but I mean, we haven't been. Has Nancy been to the New England area? Other than, well, she was in New Jersey for Haunted Carousel,
Yeah.
but
See, I don't really know because I'm not that familiar with that area of the states.
that's
So,
true.
Does New York count?
Um, yeah, I guess technically. So she was in New York, like upstate New York for Waverly Academy,
mm-hmm.
and then New York City, of course, for Stay Tuned for
STFD. Yeah.
Danger. But I definitely like to see like I don't really consider any of those games to be darker games.
Mm-hmm.
So to have like a darker New England area game is going to be cool, I think.
Yeah. I'm thinking. See, I've never been to Salem, so I don't know how big or small town or big town it is. But just based on some stuff I've seen, it seems like it's a bit of a small town kind of feel.
Yeah, I think it's a small town with a ton of history.
Okay,
Um,
and that
I've
sounds
never been either.
yeah, well, that sounds a lot like the place that I'm living in right now. I live in a very small town with loads of history because the town was funded by a coal mine, which just mysteriously shut down like 18 years ago. Um, and so I feel like just based on what I know about this town, I would love to see just small shops or something that you can go into and buy stuff. And I'd love to see just like a little small town square that you get to explore. Um, I would love to see a nice crypt, kind of like Crystal Skull style. I really love that one. Maybe not as vast as Crystal Skull, but something along those lines.
Can we get somebody to cry in front of it though?
only
Just
if it's
kidding.
only if it's Henry Bolet. If they can they please bring him back for this game so that we can
I honestly think that would fit.
get
Like
like
if
him and Deirdre to hook up or something.
like if all the Henry Bolet fangirls wanted to like start a petition, I feel like Henry Bolet would fit into the like just feel of
Mm.
Midnight in Salem.
I would love the game. I would give it the game a 10 out of 10 right away if Henry Bolet was in it. Like no joke. That's it. Um do you guys think this game's going to take place at day, night, or will there be a day and night cycle? What do you think?
I feel like they're gonna have cycles, or just like you're able to alarm like we usually do for the
Mm.
next day, because because we have so many people working in like courtrooms.
Mm.
I feel like that won't be open at night.
Yeah.
That's a good
Um
point.
Do you think Jenna's paranormal tours? Do you think those will be during the day or during the evening or something?
I'm I'm thinking evening. I'm thinking it's going to be like a ghost tour type situation where, you walk around to all the historic landmarks
Mm.
and then, they tell you creepy stories about the people who died there or whatever.
Kind of like Wade's little thing in Thornton Hall.
Right.
Yeah. Or
Or like
even
Abby in Haunted Mansion.
yeah, exactly.
Hmm.
I wonder even if they'll do like a cycle, kind of like Shadow Ranch, where you got to get X amount of things done in day one, then you go to the night, something happens in the night, then day two, something like that.
I honestly I've missed that system.
Oh,
So
me
if they
too.
brought that back, I would not complain at all.
Because I love that sense of progression because you've done something good, and that means you've just unlocked a whole bunch more stuff. And I love that. I don't like the idea that I can just go to times and I don't know for sure if I'm progressing. I mean, I know I'm progressing. I'm getting older, but I just don't know if I'm progressing through the game.
I think recently the games have been becoming less linear
Hmm.
compared to the older games because now you can do a lot of stuff kind of in scrambled orders.
Yeah, exactly. I think well, the Shadow Medallion was pretty linear because they've got all the game puzzles that you got to get done to progress through the game. But even then, between that, there's a lot of non-linear stuff. But Shadow Ranch is a very linear game, in my opinion.
I agree. And I think it's part of the reason why when I played it all those years ago for the first time,
Hmm.
it got me so hooked on the series, um, because the only other game I had played was the original Secrets Can Kill, which wasn't really that linear,
Yeah.
especially for a 10-year-old kid. Um, so I appreciate very much the linear games. I know some people call them easy, but I
Mm.
think that it's important to have certain games in the series that are linear and easy because they're perfect introduction games to get people to love the series. So it's been a while since we've had a linear game like
Hmm.
that. And I think that Midnight in Salem would be a perfect opportunity to have another game like that. Since it has been such a long time since we've had a game released, I think it would be helpful to have another game that would be a good intro game.
Hmm. Yeah, no, I agree with that too. With this new teaser trailer that Her Interactive has been teasing us with, what do you guys think they're gonna include in it? Is it gonna be very vague, just like the first one, or are they gonna have gameplay? What do you think?
Well, I think it's gonna be kind of like the same formula for the teasers that we've had in the past. Depending on when it's announced, if it's like announced along with the release date, I think it'll fall in that same formula.
I'd hope so. I'd sure hope so. Yeah. V, what do you think?
I think it will definitely include the Hardys in some way, whether that's 3D models, um, them talking about whatever it is.
Hmm.
Um, I feel like it's more likely that we're gonna get if we see characters in movement. I feel like it's more likely that we're gonna get the Hardys or Deirdre, um, characters that we've already seen and know, because they're the easiest ones to deliver.
Mm.
Um, but that's just me. That's just thinking. I'm just thinking about what would be the most likely and most easy thing for them to kind of give us.
Hmm. Do you guys think that this will be the final Nancy Drew game? And if not, how many more do you think they'll make?
I hope not. I mean, just as a simple answer, like I really hope not. I would love to see them branching out to other platforms. I know they've talked about that before, uh, but at the same time, I don't want to sacrifice the main series PC games in exchange for those. It'd be great if we got those in addition to, but if I had to choose, like, well, we're branching out into other platforms, but you're not going to get PC games. Um, I would not be happy with that. So I hope it's not the last. I'd be really sad if we waited all this time and then got a game and then they said that's it, we're done.
Mm.
Um, I think that would be like just really, really sad.
Yeah. Yeah, I think for me, I personally actually would be totally fine if this was their final game, or if they did this and then just one more, because at least for where I'm at in my life, and I know where so many other fans are at, we've been waiting so long that I've pretty much moved on, but I've still got a pretty good hand in the community. And so I'm just like, well, if it's the last one, then I wouldn't be upset. But if they did, one, maybe two more after it, then that's all right with me. But it's not as important to me now as it was like 2 years ago. I don't know. Maybe it's just me too. But I don't know.
I don't feel like this will be the last one because with the way the company was going right now, they were losing quite a lot of money, and it would just be easier for them to not learn an entire new engine, kind of build the fan base up for 4 years to release a game. It'd be much easier to just say we're not going to make games anymore. So putting out another game kind of seems like a waste if they're not going to make any more, if that makes sense.
That does make sense, because if they're taking this much time to find a new company to get into a new groove, and they only do this one game, then that for logically does not make sense. So they would have to
I
produce
have to
one or two more
say,
games.
like, yeah, I have to say, like, I know a lot of fans have had a lot of criticisms, and I know that a lot, maybe not a lot, but some of that is warranted, or can be, you know, easily explained and given reason to. But I have to say that, like, as nervous as I've been at times, as you know disappointed as I've felt over these last 4 years, I
Mm-hmm.
have to give them credit for the fact that they are still trucking, and they have not thrown in the towel yet. And
Yeah.
I know a lot of people are like, maybe you just should, and I'm like, since I don't know all the ins and outs of what's going on over there, like, I I can say what I think they should do all day, every day, but at the end of the day, the fact that they're still trying speaks volumes when they've had every opportunity and reason to just call it quits. So for that reason, I think I'm still holding on to the hope. Even when I'm like, oh, I wish that this was a trailer and not just another character reveal, you know, I'm still holding on to that hope, and I'm going to be thrilled when we finally get it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, definitely. I think this thought just came into my mind, but when they announced the release date of spring 2019 back in 2017, I'm guessing at the time they must have found a company or something that they wanted to go with to make their game. And that was a long time ago. So I'm really curious how much work has gone into the last year and a quarter or a year and a half or how long it's been. I'm also curious what's been keeping them afloat. How have they been able to maintain still being a company? Like what's bringing in their revenue? Is it an investor? It surely can't be their sales. I don't know.
I, I can't. I don't know. I An
I'm sorry for
investor would
asking all
make
the tough
sense.
questions.
No, I mean, an investor would make sense, but I would not have any idea who or what company.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, that's a tough one. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it could be just a number of factors too, and not just one big one.
Hmm.
Because with all these big contests that we're doing, I just found out recently that all this Amazon stuff, the reason they're getting all these Amazon contests is because they have an Amazon facility right in Washington, like maybe 20 minutes
Uh,
away from where they are, or Bellevue, sorry. So I'm just thinking that if they're able to, be right there, it would save them so much money and all this stuff. And yeah, I don't know. I think that's kind of interesting. Do you guys think Midnight in Salem will be worth the wait after so many long years?
I'm so afraid to answer this question. Um, Everything in me wants to say yes, but it's completely dependent on how the game translates into the Unity engine.
Mm.
For me, uh, I don't want it to be so far removed that it no longer feels like a Nancy Drew game. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I feel like it's gonna be one of those things that people will have to get used to
Mm-hmm.
because it's such a big transition first, like not having Lonnie, and then also having a new engine and supposedly a new kind of moving system where you have, I guess, 360 vision.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. It depends on how open the community is to the new changes.
Yeah, and I think
Yeah.
I know a lot of the community. You know when you just can't say words, community. I have to say it like that every time. Um, I know a lot of the community is not going to be happy with these changes because they're going to be so used to the way that Her Interactive did things. They're just not going to. It's going to be like getting hit with lightning. They're going to be like, "What's going on here? I don't like this." Um, and so I think that will definitely cause a lot of disruption. Um, but the same thing I feel like goes for anything. When Halo 4 was released by 343 Industries and not Bungie, it was a big game changer. Like there were so many different features and everything looked different and it was like faster and whatnot, and it was a lot of people didn't like it because it was just so different. But ultimately it comes down to the way that the industry is changing. Because with Halo 4 came out in a time when the games were getting faster, they were getting bigger, they were getting more advanced, they were getting more detailed. Midnight in Salem is going to come out 4 years after Sea of Darkness, and in regards to the technology that's being used compared to Sea of Darkness, they need to upgrade everything. Everything needs to be different, and so everything needs to be changed. And whether the fans like it or not, it's just the way it's going to happen. Do you guys think they're going to do pre-order bonuses just like they have with past editions and or past games? And do you think they'll be the same pre-order things, or do you think they'll include more like physical goodies, or just the same old bonus edition stuff?
I feel like they might do sort of like a collector's edition thing instead of a pre-order thing, where
Mm.
you pay extra for hopefully more extra content
Mm-hmm.
and just have it available forever. Because I know a lot of people really wanted the bonus edition and just can't have it because they may not have even known the series existed at that time.
Right.
And that would honestly be a good marketing strategy just to make some extra revenue because I know, like, I mean, I'm just speaking from myself. I'd pay an extra $5-10 for a collector's edition
Oh yeah.
where, I'm getting the game and then a few extra goodies, and that's extra dollars in their pocket.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm willing to pay that, and I know other people would be too. I feel like that'd be a really smart strategy, if you will, for when they start doing pre-orders or whatever, however they handle that.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. I totally agree.
I will say too that I really like their new Teespring shop.
Oh my
I've
God.
been perusing that, so if they wanted to do like small, like physical goodies to go along with, whatever
Yeah.
the collector's edition or however they bonus edition, I think that could be a really cool thing too. Considering that I really like some of the goodies on their Teespring shop.
And that
Do
was
we
gonna.
even
I was just gonna bring that up. What do you
sorry?
guys think of this new merch store?
Oh, I think it's great.
What do you think of it?
I'll be honest, I have not seen it.
Oh,
It's
what?
definitely worth. It's definitely worth browsing.
Oh yeah.
Um, like they've got like cute little throw pillows and like stuff like that. I was looking over it the other day, and I was impressed. I know that like for a while they'd had an Amazon store, which was admittedly really great for me because I have a Prime account, so
Mm.
free shipping. But I know that it was kind of dying out a little bit. They were having trouble finding like actual like shirt, you know, printers or whatever.
Hmm.
So I like that they've kind of settled, it seems like, onto Teespring, and everything just looks pretty nice quality. So I'm happy with the Teespring shop.
Well, I know Joni ordered the Creepiest Corner poster, and she was very happy with it. So,
Yeah, I just ordered a t-shirt for Brit, so when it gets to her, I want her to report to me how it is.
yes, of course. Yeah, I kind of want to order something from there just to see what it's like, but we'll see because the conversion rate right now is really a pain in my side.
Ugh.
So, yeah, we'll see what happens. I think that might be it for this episode. Do you guys have any like final questions, comments, theories at all that you want to just share with the world?
Going back to what we said earlier, when we were talking about bonus edition stuff,
Mm-hmm.
V brought up like kind of physical kind of goodies.
Mm-hmm.
I think it would be cool if they did the collector's edition but included um, only the digital things in that bundle, but the pre-orders include like a small physical thing, kind of like V said.
That would be neat.
I would love that. I would love that indeed.
Like how they had the Charlotte mask for 28.
Yeah, exactly right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I look at so
That'd be
many
super cool.
modern games now, and they include all these things. Like Red Dead Redemption 2 had all these cool little objects. They had like a bag of coins that you could like in-game coins that you could just get in real life, and of course the Halo games, they always come with a statue or some cool little physical goodies. The best we've gotten from Her Interactive is the journal, and that was made public or available for everyone to buy within the last few years. So, yeah.
I think my last thought is, so I have not screamed at a Nancy Drew game since Shadow at the Water's Edge, and I would really like to be spooked, like real spooked
Oh man,
again.
I would love a really scary aspect to this game. Because if this game can make me scream like Sean Plott during the Saw playthrough, then I will be forever grateful. Yeah, I think that's about it for this episode. Thank you V, thank you E. It was a pleasure to have you say yes to doing this because that was and thank you E for having the idea in the first place. That was a brilliant idea, and I love it, and I hope we get to do this again soon.
It was
So,
definitely fun. Thanks for having me.
thanks for sticking around for like over an hour. So that's a pretty long time. I don't know. Questions just keep popping into my head, and I've got probably 30 more that I want to ask. But I'm like, that's ridiculous. So yeah,
We can do this again.
Exactly right. Yeah, we'll do part 2 and 3 and maybe 6 and 8. I don't know. We'll find out. But yeah, that does it for this episode. Thank you all for watching, or listening, I guess, because there's not going to be any video, just probably an image and audio. If you guys enjoyed, leave a like. Let me know if you want more, and if you do, then I will let these guys know, unless they read the comments, in which case they will know. They'll know. That's about it.
Also, comment any topics that you might have for us.
Ooh, I like that. Any questions? Any subjects? Yes, that is brilliant. I love that. If you somehow make, because I know I look at viewer stats, and a lot of people don't make it more than like 2 to 6 minutes into my videos. So if you guys somehow make it through all 70 minutes, I mean, it's gonna be edited down, so it's probably gonna be like, I don't know how long. If you make it through all those minutes, then I need you to comment the word lamp. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Have a good one, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Masquerade like I fancy you, and I could be the Shaggy to your Scooby Doo. Me and you together, baby, we can't lose. My Nancy Drew.